There we are. Hey, what's up, man? It's Share Bear 381. Welcome. Pull up your favorite beverage, whether that be a beer or whether that be wine, or, just right now I'm drinking Coca-Cola in a Rams glass, showing some class. And just pull up, man, anything you want. You know what I'm saying? It's we gather around our virtual pub table and have discussions about the beers we are drinking or whatever we're drinking, whatever we're thinking, whatever happened. So how you guys doing, man? We've got Bum and Mark here.
I'm doing well. About ready to pop the top on a beer here. So that'll be even better once I take a picture of it.
Me too. So So what are you drinking there, Mark? What's Mark's gonna show us his beer? He's
Funky Pumpkin.
Funky Pumpkin. Oh,
spiced pumpkin spice sour from Boulevard Brewing in Kansas City.
Wow, you don't hear that too much. A spiced sour.
Yes, and I saw it in the store, and I'm like, I think I need to get that. So let's see what we
Pumpkin.
Wow. And I got another pumpkin ale too. I got a pumpkin stout after this. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what a spiced sour is, whether it's really sour or not.
Boy, Google's heard of it. Wow, that poured really. There's nothing to that.
But sours oftentimes don't have much.
Okay.
But the nice carbonation.
I'm not as familiar with sours because I don't drink them as much. So.
It smells like pumpkin pie spice on the aroma, and then the taste is you get more of that, like that. It's not super sour, but you get a little bit of that sour right at the front, and then some pumpkin pie spice at the back. So it's more sour than pumpkin ale, I guess. So it's probably like a standard sour recipe with some pumpkin pie spice added to it. I would think. Is it 5.8%?
Yeah, because it's kind of curious. How do you pull off it being a sour and still getting, that pumpkin spice?
Yeah,
flavor.
They probably use whatever yeast they use to get it to sour, and then add some pumpkin, like whatever. What would it be? Cinnamon and nutmeg, or whatever
way they're going to decide to go, because then that opens a can of worms, right? Because it's like there's many different types of sour, and then there's we've had that discussion 100 times. There's 100 different kinds of pumpkin ways you can go. You can go spiced, or you can go pumpkin pie, or you can go.
This is more pumpkin spice. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's like a sour light. I mean, it's not over the top sour, but a little bit of spice at the back. Interesting. I've never had it. Yeah, I saw it and I was like, "Oh, it looks cool." And Boulevard usually makes good beers. I mean,
I've heard a lot of good from Boulevard. I've never tried them, but here's the untapped version of Funky Pumpkin. Boulevard Brewing. Look at that. 32,000 totals, 27,000 uniques, 4,600 this month. And we're like in the fourth day. That is crazy. I wonder if that's carrying over from last month, because damn, that's a lot of people drinking this beer.
They probably just released it a couple weeks ago, I would imagine.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
I have a feeling when they say month on there, I have a feeling that means last 30 days. I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's got to be 30 days. Yeah, that's got to be just a running 30, because this beer ain't that popular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'd imagine it's popular, but come on. I mean, this is the fourth day of the month, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's probably the wrong 30 days. People are really starting off October. Everybody's like, it's October, I can drink pumpkin beers.
I guess so. It was like they were waiting at a starting line, but Yeah, so it's 26 IBUs, 5.8 ABV.
There
So
you go.
that's
Let's see.
they call it a pumpkin or a yam beer on here.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Man, I think once you put that sour label on there, it's got to be a sour.
yeah, it's very light sour. I mean, it's sour, but it's not
So it's
like
not,
what you
yeah.
would traditionally think of it as a sour. You know, it's not hardcore sour.
Okay.
It's definitely on the lighter side.
So it's
But,
definitely just enough where's and
Mhm.
let me see on Boulevard Brewing's website here. So they've got it. Oh wow, they really put a lot of info on here. So they got the color. See, now I don't know enough about these numbers to know
EBC,
the
yeah, whatever.
EBC.
That's probably like a color like 1 to 100 or something, I would bet. You know, with 100 being like so like opaque.
I
Like
kind of
that
would like to
opaqueness.
know that number because that's a big number, right?
Mhm.
Because then when you pour it in your glass, that's going to be the color of the beer, I would
Mhm.
imagine, right?
Yep.
And that color definitely looked more actually like the label. It kind of
Mhm.
looked
Yeah, it's a golden, slightly orange gold color.
yeah. So
And it's very easy drinking. I mean, and this has been in the fridge only for about 3 hours. I went out, for my lunch break. I went out and got some lunch and beer run midday, so I had to. So it hasn't been in the fridge very long, but it's cold. It's not quite as cold as I guess I would prefer it. It's probably like 50 degrees. This is probably like a 45.
I like this. I like the way they have it set up. It's kind of as geeked out as you want to go, really.
Mhm.
If you want to really geek out, there's some good numbers on here to really geek with.
Yep. And they got food pairings. And
You got food pairings. They've got the glassware tulip, okay,
Mhm.
and bread pudding. Okay, these are the pairings, people. Bread pudding, cheesecake, pumpkin pie, or roasted poultry.
Yep.
If you have any of those and you're not inviting me, then there's something wrong, man, because I mean, come on.
That's like their pairings are like like the old southern food. Meat and three is like roasted poultry and 3 desserts, man. Pumpkin pie, bread pudding.
It's like, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. Now now that you've got yours in it, is yours in a tulip, Mark?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what was clean in a dishwasher. So my
Yeah.
$1.50.
Now Mark's being really careful. See, and he's not.
I got my pinky out.
What do you do with the pinky when you're
Right,
holding a stemmed glass? Right.
If you're manly, you hold it behind like that. But if you're in touch with your feminine side, you just kind of let it out a little bit.
Yeah, the pinky when you're holding a stemmed glass as a man, it's kind of like, do you put it erect? You know what I'm saying? Is it out there wiggling a little bit, or is it
Viagra or not? Really.
Yeah, it's that old. It's kind of like with hands in the pockets, right? Do you put your pinkies out of the pocket, or do you keep your pinkies in the pocket? See, these are the tough questions that you find here on Share Beer. This is what you've been missing your whole life. See, the pinky is an important finger as a man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it is for things like this.
Yeah, exactly right. It's the finger you got to get in the ear good with, right?
You can way down in the ear.
Yeah, it's
taking the food out of the back of your mouth.
Yeah, yeah, and in your younger days, you grow the pinky nail longer so you can kind of scoop in the bag a little bit, and so it's an important finger.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what I heard. I heard that one somewhere.
Okay, we'll believe you.
You mean the bag of Doritos, right, Joe?
The bag of Doritos, exactly. It helps you, like separate the top when you kind of barely opened it and you're like, ah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I heard. So, Mark, what do you drink? Bum, what are you drinking?
Well, Mark is correct too.
I know, yeah.
That's
Now,
true. Mark 1, Mark 2.
Mark, you said you had a pumpkin stout. By any chance, was it this?
What is it? Wait a minute.
The Breckenridge?
No, I've got
Oh, spice latte.
You said you had a
Bill's.
pumpkin stout.
I've got Bill's Black Stout. Yeah.
This that I have here, Joe, is something that I've been waiting for a week to drink. I had this.
Oh, that's right. That was the one you were going to drink last week. Yeah.
Yeah, last Tuesday, and I held off until now to open it.
Wow.
This is Breckenridge. I'll try to say this all in one breath. From their Nitro series, it's the Breckenridge Nitro Pumpkin Spice Latte, nitrogen-charged seasonal pumpkin coffee stout.
Wow.
Say that 3 times after having a couple.
Pumpkin spice latte.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay. It's got.
Google's heard of it. Wow. That didn't even have to. Jeez.
I'm enjoying that special pumpkin glass from the Union Jack Bar and Grill in Winchester, Virginia.
Oh, I like the
Yeah.
labeling on that glass. That glass is cool.
There's a lot going on with this beer with the taste.
Oh. Breckenridge. They're killing me.
The nitro stuff, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you got
You
to
had to
get
put your
enter your age, Joe?
I swear. You know,
Okay.
really, people? Haven't we covered this already?
I will say the first thing I noticed about pouring this is that for a nitro, this definitely didn't have the Niagara Falls effect that a lot of the nitro stouts have, that almost all of them have.
Really?
Huh. Wow. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's in there. When you open the can, you hear it, but it just didn't have that beautiful
How everything kind of mixes together and everything. Yeah.
cascading thing.
Yeah,
It really wasn't this.
Huh. That kind of sucks. It's a cool can. The one that they're showing on here, is yours more flat? Your label is yours more?
This
No, it's kind of.
is what I
It's
got.
kind of shiny, huh? Yeah. All right.
Oh, you mean flat as far as the?
Yeah, matte, like matte.
Yeah, it's like it's glossy.
It's glossy. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the one they're showing on here, I'll share the screen. The one they're showing here on Beer Advocate is glossy. So I just was wondering because
82. Okay.
so it's 14 reviews on here. Boy, you're gonna see the difference too. It's 14 reviews, gets an 82, no bro score at all.
Mhm.
But an 82 is still pretty decent.
Mhm.
No charge. Wow, it was just added 819. So this has got to be a new beer.
Yeah, it's probably a new
So
one
you've
for
got.
the year.
I hit that block, but on Untapped here, 5.5 ABV, 11 IBUs on Untapped, and
5,400, yeah, it's not that many. Well, it's a lot more than Beer Advocate, but
so,
yeah.
but look at the monthly total. So that's got to be a 30-day total.
Yeah, I
because
bet it
you've
is like
got-
a month, like a rolling 30 days.
Yeah, it's just below the uniques. So yeah, that's got to be a run in 30 days.
So
There's
5.5.
and then on here we'll just enter some stuff. I mean, come on, and I love Breckenridge too, but you got to give me a break, you know?
I mean, really, they're in a state that sells pot. Why can't they just have are you 21, yes or no? Really?
Really, guys, really? Yeah. So nitro pumpkin. Let's see, vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves delicately complement the taste of rich pumpkin. So you getting any of that?
Not really. It's not real heavy on the pumpkin end of things or the spices. To me, it's pretty light on the pumpkin.
Okay.
Do you get a lot of vanilla in it? Probably. Spiced latte.
Maybe a little bit. You're You know you're asking the wrong guy to decipher.
So I wonder, are they trying to compete? Are they trying to compete with? Isn't that the big thing? Doesn't Starbucks do their spice latte or whatever, pumpkin spice latte?
There's if you have a coffee shop right now,
Yeah.
and you don't have some sort of pumpkin spiced latte, you're out of business, my friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is competing with a lot of coffee shops, I would imagine. I mean,
Yeah.
heck, it's got a coffee right on it. So I would think that it being a latte, it has to go nitro to make it a latte kind of feel.
Yeah.
And then it's got to be rich in vanilla, cinnamon, and some nutmeg, right? For it to be and maybe even some clove. Are you getting any clove in there at all?
Oh God, I couldn't even tell you if I had a clove shoved up my nostril. I couldn't tell you if I was getting.
I was wondering where you were going with the shoved part, because that could have went south quickly. But
I wouldn't do that. But I'm not a coffee or a latte drinker either, so I just enjoying it as beer. It tastes like a mild stout to me. Maybe just like a hint of the pumpkin and the other stuff, and it's enjoyable.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, because that actually sounds like something pretty good, actually. What was your price point on that?
Oh geez, let's see.
Single or 4-pack?
It was a 4-pack, and keep in mind they're 15.5 like these nitro cans are. Instead of 16 ounce, they chop off 15.2 ounces.
Oh,
okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I think it was $9.99 for the 4-pack.
Okay,
if I remember.
Yeah, that's in the ballpark. Yeah, yeah, especially for the tall cans. Yeah, you're in the ballpark.
Yep.
Yeah, it was good. I'll enjoy my 4-pack. Will I rush out to buy it again? Probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe next year I'll buy a couple more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a seasonal beer. Yeah, that I could see myself getting through the 4-pack. And if I had, someone I was sharing the 4-pack with, and they had 2 and I had 2, I'd probably call it good for a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's I think, I think Breckenridge is smart enough to know that. I think they kind of know that, this is kind of, is novelty beer fair? I don't know that that's fair. You might buy it every year maybe, but once a year might be fair enough for that beer, huh?
Yeah.
I think the combination of pumpkin and nitro, to me, puts it in the novelty category. It's got 2 of those things going on.
Yeah, I got you. That'd be fair. I would think that would be fair. Yeah, that's especially
each of those things on its own doesn't make it novelty, but you put them together, I would say, yeah.
That's kind of what I was, because I do put some cream in my coffee, and immediately, you're, what was it, at least a month and a half ago, you're hit with all these different pumpkin creamers, for Christ's sake. They have them everywhere in your local grocery store. You can't go in your grocery store without running into a pumpkin creamer, and or pumpkin anything really right now. And and I was just thinking that I had bought kind of one of the bigger creamers, and it had a pumpkin whatever flavor to it, and I was thinking, man, I'm like, I'm done with this pumpkin creamer already.
It's not even October.
I'm like, I think I'm halfway through it, and I'm like, God, I'm done with this pumpkin creamer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of just use regular creamer or milk, but since I saw the pumpkin one there, and they had it on a special, so I was like, yeah, let me buy some, and I was, yeah, I'm done with this, 'cause I drink a lot of coffee too, so. Well, I got this new glass from an anonymous source who happens to be in this room. But Bum sent me this, and I really appreciate it. He knows what a beer glass geek I am, and I definitely appreciate it. It's an awesome glass. He has had it. Have you seen him with it, Mark?
Yeah, I have actually. That's like I've seen that glass somewhere before.
Yeah, he's
That's
had
cool.
it.
It looks like a little barrel. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a little barrel. Yeah. Ooh, and now that you mentioned that, you made me think of something the other day. Stuck in traffic, of course, in Phoenix here, and I was, I get stuck in traffic at the end of my run. So as I'm coming back into Phoenix from California, I get stuck in traffic, in the morning traffic. And there was a guy, I think it was this past Friday, and I meant to take a picture of him, but with my iPhone, of course, and I couldn't get close enough to him in the traffic and still shift gears and all the stuff that I do. To get a picture of him, but he had a whole flatbed trailer behind his pickup truck of barrels, and which were pretty obvious to me that they were pretty fresh barrels too.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the back of the pickup, he had a bunch of what looked like brewery type stuff. So it looked like he was getting ready to age a bunch of beer,
Okay.
So, really wanted to get a picture because, it'd be kind of cool to post that and then see if it got back to him, and maybe we could get a dialogue going of what he's going to do and so forth. But maybe if we keep eyes out in our, you're in traffic especially, you might see some things. I see a lot of what looks like it could. I don't know on what level of brewer these people are. They could be just home brewers or whatever. But this particular one had to be. Let me see. Probably 20 or 24 barrels. So I wouldn't imagine that's a home brewer. Because that's a lot of beer.
Yeah.
And a lot of money if you know about the more we get to know about Zach and what he does, and he kind of lets us in on a little nugget of information about barrels here and there and how expensive they can be. So you've definitely got to be making money at it to get that many barrels.
It was interesting. On Saturday, we went. Wes took us to. It's called First Magnitude Brewing. They're in Gainesville, and they've been open a couple of years. He got hooked up with one of the owners or whatever, and we kind of got like a tour and all that stuff. And he was talking. They just started barrel aging beers, and they had all kinds of different. And most of them were bourbon barrels. I'm like, where do you get your barrels from? And he's like, there's, we're only buying a few at a time. So there's just people that sell barrels from wherever. Yeah. So you don't really know what that barrel was like before. He says, so it is a bit of a shot in the dark. I mean, there could be just crap in there or, whatever. He says, so barrel aging, unless you know exactly where the barrel came from and what was in it and how it was treated, he says it's a little bit of a crapshoot, when you barrel age beer. Because we don't buy enough. He said we don't buy enough barrels to be able to get like exclusive rights to all the barrels from a certain distillery or whatever. He said we just kind of buy it on the open market. People buy the barrels and then sell.
It sounds like he needs to get hooked up with and I think our friend of the show Zach is in a unique position, which is Chain Reaction Brewing. If you happen to be in Colorado or going to Colorado, we'll give them a plug. Chain Reaction Brewing, they're a friend of the show. But I think with him being in Denver, he's in a unique position to be around so much beer and so much beer stuff that he's around, barrel brokers, people that just deal with, brokering barrels, and that's all they do, which makes a lot of sense, really, because with all the spirits that are out there, with all the different wines that are out there, and now beers, they all are going to barrel age at some point. And so it makes a lot of sense that you could imagine how many barrels are just kind of floating around out there in this. I wonder what the name for it is. What's the name for a barrel market? Right? Like what? I'm gonna look that up.
Oh man.
Is there a barrel? You know what I'm saying? Like, is there a name for it? How would I even look that up? A barrel market?
Search like for bourbon barrel broker. I don't know. That might be.
Yeah, let me look for.
But yeah, I think he gets. Zach gets some of his barrels from Stranahan, which is a Colorado whiskey distillery. So they kind of get stuff from. I think I remember him saying he got a couple of the barrels from Stranahan, which is based in Colorado, and I think they have a pretty good relationship with a lot of the brewers. So that probably helps. This guy in Gainesville had stuff. He had some stuff from Four Roses and a couple of other distilleries. But it wasn't all from the same. It was like a mix of different distilleries, just depending on what they could find. So.
Well, I'll take you guys on this search with me. So I'll share the screen here, and then you could go along with me on this ride. But you've got this barrel broker here in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Let's just hit the first link here.
The barrel broker.
The barrel broker. I mean, it doesn't get any more. And yeah, these stands are very familiar. I see those a lot. Yeah, you see that. That's a familiar scene. So this is, as a broker, we can source those hard-to-find barrels for your specific needs from the best Northern California wineries located in Napa and Sonoma counties. We source bourbon, whiskey, and rye barrels from reputable providers in Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, and others.
Okay.
So yeah, these are definitely. Let's see the products here. What do we have here?
Does it give a price? That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to give. I think it would be foolish to give prices because it's probably going up and down, up and down.
Just depending how many you need and what kind.
Yeah, what you want to do with it. So he's got certain barrels. I would imagine once that barrel has gone through its cycle of aging, then it's automatically a planter.
Yeah.
It goes through its, and then now it's a planter.
Yeah. It gets cut in half and it's a planter.
Which might lead to something else. Like you might take some of these barrels once it's gone through, it's whatever it's going to go through. I'll stop sharing the screen here. I think that's kind of enough, right? But I think once it's gone through whatever it's going to go through, its life cycle of different aging, I would think you could take and buy one and chip it up and throw it in your smoker and get some incredible stuff.
Oh yeah.
For your meat.
I've seen like wine barrel chips. I've seen that in the store. I haven't
have
seen
you really? I have not seen. Are they aged barrels? Do you know?
I just said like wine barrel chips, like Cabernet barrels or whatever. So I'm sure there were barrels that are kind of like you said, at the end of their life. Maybe they used 3 or 4 times or whatever, and then they just chip them up. Go all Fargo on them and chip them up, and then put them in a bag, and off you go. Yeah,
because that would make some fantastic smoked meat, wouldn't it? Like, I mean, if you got the first or second use out of out of like maybe a barrel is into its second use and they're kind of done with it for some whiskeys, and chip that up and throw that on your smoker, man. Oh wow, that's just gotta. And any of them, really. I mean, pick your wine. I would imagine maybe I don't know much about wine, but I'm guessing maybe a light wine or what if you took some tequila, whatever was aged with tequila, and chipped that up and made some good chicken with it or something, some good lemon chicken.
Yep.
If you do that and you're watching this and you don't invite me, that's on you.
I was going to drive his truck over.
Whatever decision you make has consequences, good consequences and bad ones, right? And if you make that decision and you don't invite me, those consequences are on you, man. Because that sounds killer. That sounds right? That's like, oh my God. But yeah, getting back to what led us down that whole rabbit hole was this darn glass. Thanks, bum.
Cheers, Joe. I got mine.
Yeah, he's got his. So
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
I appreciate it. Bum went out of his way to make sure I had this, and I really, really do appreciate it.
That's a full glass.
I'm a
I went
definite.
to a different county to get that glass for Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, so you've got black pumpkin from.
Yeah, Buffalo Bill's Black Pumpkin Oatmeal Stout. This is a bomber.
Ah,
And is it 7.8%, something like that? Yeah. So it's a
I've never seen that. I would like to try that. Buffalo Bills is the brewery you can blame for the deluge of pumpkin beers out there. They were the first,
Yeah.
I believe.
yeah. And this was in my beer store, and it was $3.99 for the bottle.
Poured
So
nice. That poured nice.
I was like, well, for $3.99, if it sucks, I won't feel too bad, and if it's good, then I got a deal. So yeah,
Well, it's got an 87, so that's not too bad.
Okay. So yeah, we'll see. I've got good things for $4. That's a good thing. Let me take a picture right here. But come on. But yeah, and I'm assuming it's this year's. If it's last year's, that would really suck.
Well, if it's last year's, that just builds the interest, right?
It's aged, yeah, right.
Now it's a matter of, okay, how well did it hold together, if at all,
Yeah, we'll find out. So it looks good, and it still has the good head and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
that beer
wow,
looks
this
good.
is where the other beer was more spice. This is like pumpkin pie.
Okay.
This is like, wow, very, very strong pumpkin pie kind of smell. This is pretty good. Really
Now,
good. You get pumpkin pie up front, and you get that kind of that dark roasty thing that you get from a stout. Kind of that roasty.
Yeah.
But you definitely get the pumpkin pie. The nose is pretty heavy on the spice. The taste is more like the pie itself. The aroma is more like the pie spice, and then you get a little bit of the the dark. That's a really good beer. Very good.
So that head is giving out.
Oh yeah.
That kind of sounds wrong, right? Because that head is kind of more creamy.
It's a nice creamy head. Yeah, nice creamy head.
You are getting the creaminess out of the head. You can't. Come on. You can't say that with a straight face. There's.
Wait a minute. Let me have some more of this creamy head.
You can't do it. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. See, you don't get that with wine. I swear to God, you don't get that with wine. You know, how are you going to get that with wine? I swear to God, that is great.
This is a good beer. I don't know if you can find this. Buy it. Creamy head and all.
Yeah, I'm going to look for it. I may go beyond my usual beer shopping channels to try and find that.
Yeah, it says 40 IBUs. I think it's 7.9%.
Yeah, I'm showing 7.9. And it's out of California, so maybe I can get it.
Yeah, you might.
I'm going to look for it as well. And I'm sure Earth will as soon as he sees this.
Yeah.
I honestly don't see too much Buffalo Bill stuff around here like I used to.
They've got like 3 or 4 different kinds of pumpkin beers. I started seeing them end of August. Mid to end of August.
I can still remember like it was yesterday, about 10 years ago. I was beer shopping and I saw on their shelf Buffalo Bill's Pumpkin Ale, and I thought to myself, "Oh my God, who the hell would ever buy a pumpkin beer? Nobody's gonna like that."
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Here we are.
Here we are talking about Is this our third pumpkin beer?
Yeah.
Here's my second one.
Yeah, so we got 4 pumpkin beers tonight. Everything is pumpkin beer.
Yeah, this was a pumpkin beer show right here, man.
But nobody else drinks pumpkin beers except us.
Who in the hell's gonna like that stuff?
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Fathead's Spooky Tooth.
I have to show this at least, Bum, before you get into that real quick.
Sure.
Because I have to give them props for this. At least if you're gonna do it, just do something like this. This is kind of cool.
Yes. Yeah.
I can respect that. And they have, just a basic site, just a basic page. Click here if you're over 21. If you are or not, I don't really know that they really don't want you to still. I get my underage people that do watch me and watch this show are trying to find out about beers that they want to have when they're old enough, and which is cool with me,
Yep.
So here's the black pumpkin. This is an interesting way of doing it. So that you pretty much go. This is kind of smart in a way, because they're forcing you to go through their whole what would you call it, catalog of beers, or their whole lineup here to get to the beer you want. And actually, I am seeing several that I would love to try. Alimony IPA sounds good. I kind of like their whole theme they got going here. That seems to go along with their theme that they've got going here. Tasmanian Devil sounds good. See, you're forced. This is exactly what they want you to do. I think that was the intent here. Blood Orange Imperial Ale.
Yep.
Feeling that. 9% ABV. Strawberry Blonde. I could kind of pass on that right now. A Strawberry Doppelweizen might go for that. 8.8% Weizen.
Yeah. It's almost like
Come on.
Yeah, there you go.
Got some wheat, banana, and cloves, and there better be some strawberry in there. And then we finally get to black pumpkin, but I have to kind of scroll past it and see what else we've got here. Blueberry oatmeal. Oh, that might.
Yeah, that does look pretty good, doesn't it?
It's great.
Oh, you've had that one.
Yeah, that's been around a while. It's excellent.
And it's so finally we get to the one we wanted, and aroma of pumpkin creme brulee.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, they're stretching that one a little too much, huh?
I mean, it's a good aroma, yeah.
7.9%. On Untapped, we've got 605 in monthly here, so 40 IBUs. So it's I appreciate it there, Bum. I wanted to kind of get to that really quick before.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So you got the floor, my friend.
Oh, okay. No, that's great that they don't make you put your birthday in there. I know that is a pain in the ass.
Yes, it is.
And as somebody who's been going to the Sam Adams website for 15 years now, I know what a pain in the ass.
You know what it is? It's like, I was 21 before the person who created this page was born, probably.
Yeah,
that's a great way to put it. That's great.
So who the hell are you to tell me that I'm not old enough to come and look at your site?
And if you're anywhere near my lawn, get off.
Get off my lawn. Damn kids. Damn punk kids. Jeez. You're just hating on old people. That's all it is. You're just hating on old people.
Yeah, if you're anywhere near my lawn, get off it. What do you got there, bud?
Your show title tonight, Joe. This is the Pumpkin Beer Show. This is Fathead's Spooky Tooth.
Oh.
Imperial Pumpkin Ale, 9%.
Ooh, okay. So that's our
And
Imperial
as
Pumpkin.
With Fathead's, Imperial Pumpkin Ale. All Fathead stuff is pretty expensive. This was, I believe, $14.99 for a 4-pack, which Fathead stuff is very expensive, even though it's technically a local beer.
They're taking full advantage of popularity.
Yeah.
Yep.
So most of Fathead stuff I'll buy once and then move on.
Yeah. Well, they do make good beer, but yeah, they.
So let's see, they've got here's the Untapped here. They've got 67 reviews on here. And let's see. Share the screen. 67 reviews, 87 gets an 87.
Okay. That's pretty
So it's not too bad. And on their website, what would that be? A seasonal, I guess, huh? There it is.
If you have to plow through all their beers like you did Buffalo Bills, you're going to be a long time on there.
good.
Oh,
Yeah, they do a lot of beer.
Yeah, no, I already knew that because I have not had Fatheads, but I have definitely heard of them. So I already knew I wasn't going to go through all that. But no,
you had the Joe. You had the Shakedown Stout.
yeah, you're right.
Mhm.
Yep, darn sure did. And so here's the Spooky Tooth Imperial Pumpkin Ale. What do we got here? 9%, 22 IBUs.
Mm-hmm.
Color is a deep amber. Yeast is a German ale. What are we getting for? Let's see. Let me see. Rich amber color with an aroma of sweet pumpkin pie and savory spices, with hints of sweet malt. You getting any of that, Bum?
I'm getting the spice. I am like as the aftertaste.
Okay.
The alcohol kind of overpowers everything else, though.
Oh, so that alcohol's up front. So it's the definite, big beer.
To me,
Yeah. So that 9% is in the front, in the
9% is there.
I call beers that are kind of the alcohol is really, once they start getting above 8%, even 7.5%, some of them are really kind of hot, like is what I call it. Like they're and actually, we'll see. They've got food pairings as turkey and stuffing and pumpkin pie. Again, we've covered this. I like turkey too. I like stuffing too. But Mark might know this, and I'm glad he's here to. Well, let me show the really quick. This is the numbers on Untapped. 462 altogether, and 230 monthly.
Kicks Beer Advocate as far as number of reviews.
But it was just added on 8/15, so relatively well, a very new ad for Beer Advocate. But really quick, Mark, you might know this is what would be the proof of a 9% beer?
Isn't it basically double
You
that?
double
So
it,
the
right?
18 proof.
18 proof, okay.
Yeah.
So just to put it in a different number that maybe other people can relate to, because they're probably definitely used to, you buy whiskey or something like that, and it says 100 proof or something on it. It gives them a number to relate to, another number,
Yeah, well, that's like if it's like 9%,
because
12 ounces, that's probably the equivalent of like
it's got to be higher than that.
A shot or two of regular 80 proof stuff.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's more
like
kind of equivalent.
80 proof.
Yeah, I was thinking it was more like 80 or 70 or something like that, because I think once you start getting in stuff that's kind of 15% ABV, I think you're hitting close to almost 100 proof, aren't you?
No, I think proof is essentially whatever the ABV is, double that, and that's the proof.
And that's the
so
proof.
Like whatever Everclear is 200 proof or 192 or whatever, so it's almost pure alcohol. It's almost 100% alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you have a 9% beer, that's like Bum has, that's a 12-ounce bottle. So 9% is like 18 proof. but you times that by 12, that's like 100 and that's like 200. So what's 200 divided? That's the equivalent of like 2 shots, basically, in terms of total alcohol.
Yeah.
If you base it like on ounces of stuff.
Okay.
So it's worth a couple shots. So all those people that say, I just drink hard liquor because you're more manly. Yeah, you drink a couple imperial beers and,
Yeah. I was just trying to give another number that might help people, and I thought about proof because I know that there's, a relation there, because it is all alcohol. So I didn't. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Here's a number most people can identify with. This equals 2 Budweisers.
Yeah. That's one
right.
equals 2, right?
This is like 3.5 Budweisers here. This
except that one there, I would think, Mark, is definitely more. It's got to be equivalent to about 6 Budweisers in taste, right? Like it's just way in the hell. How do we even compare that in taste? Like,
it's like, yeah,
it's just not
even close.
Yeah, it's not even. I know that this will be something that's completely unrelated to beer, okay? But that I just found out, and it's kind of really cool, and I really dig it. So some of you may know when you follow me on other social networks, that Instagram or so forth, that I have been buying local milk, right? And this is the quart of milk that I buy from the local Dan Zensen Dairy. Their name screws me all up, but they've got an Arizona Cardinal logo on here and stuff like that. They support the Cardinals.
That's
cool. For some reason, I am lactose intolerant, but for some reason, I can drink their milk. The lady had told me this, and if I drink milk, it causes a disaster. Let's just say.
I kind of know what you mean. I'm mildly lactose intolerant. Yeah,
it is not a good thing, right? So milk has not even. It literally sometimes don't even, unless I'm having Oreo cookies. You guys, everybody knows how much I love Oreos, and I don't love Oreos. Is kind of funny too, right? Because I like the different flavors of it. I don't necessarily have Oreos all the time or buy them all the time, except for when they come out maybe with a new flavor, and I like to try the new flavors. But unless I'm having some kind of cookies, then I'll buy some milk to go with the cookies. So I might buy a pint of some milk to go with the cookies, But when I moved near this dairy happens to be down the street, and so I was like, yeah, of course I'll go in there, check them out, and I can take one of those lactate pills and then have some milk if I want. So I went down there. Their milk is bomb. It is fantastic. I love it. You know what I'm saying? It is really good. It's insanely fresh. Every morning, 5 in.the.morning. They bring the milk from the dairy to the bottling plant, which is where I buy it, and they're literally down the street from each other. So you can look at the cows over there, and then look at the bottling plant right there. You know what I'm saying? It's that sort of thing. And they use all older processing and stuff, is what the lady has explained to me. And then she said there's something about between that and then us putting it in a glass bottle that a lot of people say that you're able to drink our milk, and I'm like, So I had to wait for a good weekend to try it.
To make sure, just to have an emergency plan B, just in case it didn't work. So you can spend all that extra time in the thinking man's seat, right?
Yeah, exactly, and on the royal seat, and so I can drink their milk. And so I was just bringing that up for other people that might be lactose intolerant, and you do have a dairy that sells milk by you. Maybe that's a solution for you, because now I will not buy anything other. And this milk is pricey. Don't get me wrong. It's not cheap, but it's like anything.
Craft milk.
That was going to be my tie-in, was the craft milk, because
it is.
It's funny too, because it used to be that was the only way they made milk, was that particular way, and now The guy started actually bottling his own stuff because their theory was, why should I put my milk? I go through all this care and trouble, to make sure my cows eat this. They get taken care of this way and that way, and why should I put my milk in with everyone else's milk, and it just goes into a big thing and they process it any old way,
Mm-hmm.
And he would make good money on it, but at the same time he's like, I'm not just throwing my milk in there with everyone else's milk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not really aware of how the milk gets processed and put into plastic jugs and so forth. And so opened my eyes, you know what I'm saying? So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to when I drive by the cows and you smell the smell, and that's now it definitely makes it more interesting, because I'm like, that's where my milk comes from. You know what I'm saying? And
that's cool.
It is definitely cool to get milk in the glass jug again, and they give you a bottle deposit. So it's expensive initially, but once you start getting bottles, then you get well, in my case it's $2 a bottle. So
it's not that bad.
It's not that bad once you start getting bottles, racked up. Then it's pretty much just a system of, okay, I drank 3 bottles, I take 3 back, I get $6 off, and you know what I'm saying? So it's then it's cost effective, Yeah.
Well, it's like growlers. You buy, when you go to a growler store for the first time, you buy a growler. You got to make that initial investment in your health and wellness. High quality growler.
Actually, you're very right about the growlers too, because that initial investment might, depending on the beer you get and so forth, because they all have a different price. But that initial growler, and I kind of go by the gallon with beer, right, or half gallon, I guess. What are the growlers typically? Half gallon?
Yeah, I get the quart, and my growler shop charged me $5 for the quart one. Initially. But, and I got there's been a couple times where I showed up and said, I'm here for my beer. Oh, I forgot my bottle. And he's like, don't worry, I'll give you another bottle, because I know you'll bring it back. But you got to invest. And I think the half gallons are like $6.50 or $7 or something. Right.
Yeah. And then some people will even go as far as just to order their own growler online, or whatever the case may be, stainless steel, where they have the flip tops and they seal, and the growler actually makes the beer last at least a good month in those cases. But then after that initial, and those growlers might cost you $30, $35. The sky's the limit with some of them. Some of them are ceramic and really take a lot of care, and I've seen them as high as $60. But once you buy that initial growler, then the beer can typically run you $10, $5 in some cases. Like, I mean, dirt cheap for beer. I mean, you take your growler and they fill it, and you literally might get change back off of 10. Like, it's insane, So the value is definitely there, and that's kind of what stuff that I'm paying more for. I kind of don't go by the price as much as value, like, and I'm getting a value out of that. Like, your product that I'm buying is much better. So yeah, it's more expensive, but to me the value is there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's certain things. All of us have certain things that we're willing to pay more for value, and then other things where we just buy on price alone. And it's whatever, typically whatever you're passionate about or whatever you enjoy the most is what you're willing to pay more for.
Was that good marketing, Bum? Was that good marketing?
Yeah. The value for your glass bottles is, Joe, you don't explode all over the place. That's high value.
That's right. Yeah. Think of all the time savings.
Yeah,
you can actually get stuff done instead of sitting in one place, reading a book or something. Yeah,
I tell you, I'm back to being a huge fan of milk. I haven't been, man. It's been forever. I can't even. When was the last time I really had? I can't even. Long time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're talking even past being a teenager. Like,
So do you have any problem drinking milk stouts, like a lot of milk stouts that have lactose in them?
You know what? I have to say that it's literally just milk for me. I can have cheese. I can have
Okay.
anything else. It's literally milk for me.
Yeah, for me, it's milk, ice cream, and like cream. Anything that's fermented, like yogurt and cheese, I don't need anything. But if it's milk or ice cream, I have to take one of those lactase pills, and
Yeah.
I'm good. But if I forget to and I eat it, I'm not like out of commission, but I get like just like rumbly type, stuff going on down there for about 12 hours. I'm not like out of commission, but it's not completely pleasant.
a glass of, I'll tell you how bad it is for me. A glass of milk, if you've ever had stomach ulcers, and I have had stomach ulcers as well, it's like that. It literally will have me curled up in bed. I swear to God, it literally. I mean,
we have a friend that's like that. If she has anything with, and she loves milk, so she's always has like a whole pack of lactase stuff. But if she misses it, she's like out. She's out for a whole day.
Yeah,
and it just like wipes her out completely.
Yeah, it's literally not just the going to the bathroom part. It's literally I will be in bed just it's awful. It's it's hard for me to even comprehend too, because I'm like, what's the, the lady was telling me that she has heard that it's because they use machines from the 50s to process their milk, and then they do put it in glass jugs. So she said, I think it's a combination of the older processing and not putting it in that plastic jugs. And she told me the process. And the thing of it is I've seen those plastic jugs even being made, and I've shipped those plastic jugs to, milk factories or whatever you want to call them, bottling plants. And so, but she said there's something in that plastic that, could have that effect. So I just put that out there. Maybe it.
Yeah.
It's something to ponder, because if you think back decades, I don't know when they started putting milk in plastic and cardboard cartons. When milk was exclusively available in bottles, were there cases of people with intolerance to lactose back then? Were there any confirmed cases of it? I don't know.
Yeah. That's an interesting. Yeah, is it a recent thing? Yeah, and that's also come across my thoughts as well. And but that was kind of the beer tie-in, was the fact that it's funny because that's the way the only way milk used to be made, and now it's crafty. So with that in mind, okay, and we all know about that part of it because we all have had milk at some point in our lives, at least once. How much better would beer be if we had it the old way? You know what I'm saying? Prohibition. You always hear about how big beer was before Prohibition, and how much better Budweiser was back then as well. And there's that one television series that I watched recently, and I'm trying to think. I think it was on Hulu, and it was about JFK. The guy goes back in time and is trying to undo the assassination of JFK. The name of the show is actually the date of JFK's assassination. What is it?
11/22/63.
Yeah, that's the day of that's the name of the show on Hulu. It was a pretty good watch, but one of the things, as this guy meets the guy that introduces him to this time machine, if you will, and when he steps into 1961 is the day that he goes back into, the time that he goes back into, and then he has to wait 2 years for the assassin.
Wow.
So
Okay.
he goes back to 1961, and then he has to live a couple of years in that time before he reaches that the assassination point. And so one of the things the guy tells him is, get ready for food to taste better. So they show him eating pie and eating this and eating that, and just like, oh my God, this is so good, you know. So you just kind of wonder, like,
well, I think a lot of it was just that stuff was more local. I mean, food was more local and fresher generally.
yeah.
On the other hand, though, on that show, he probably would have had to tell him, bad news for you. You're going to have nothing to drink but Lone Star beer for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Lone Star or Budweiser, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then that was definitely post prohibition, and they literally do talk about how a lot of beers got watered down bad in order to make it through prohibition. So yeah, it just kind of makes you wonder about stuff, though. Was kind of my point.
Well, I think the whole craft beer thing. I mean, that's really because you're getting, especially now that there's so many breweries popping up.
Right.
They're all local breweries now, for the most part. You know, it's like Zach's Main Reaction. I mean, that's a local brewery. That's a neighborhood brewery. You know, he brews the beer. People come in and they drink it, and maybe he sells kegs to a few local bars. But it's all local, well, not local ingredients, but locally made, fresh, consumed fresh, made in small batches by somebody who actually cares about what's being done. Right. Instead of just trying to crank out as much as possible at the lowest cost.
And really only geared for your immediate surrounding area for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part too.
Right.
Yeah. It's only meant for like local consumption. Yeah.
Right. Oh, wait, before we close out here, I've got we've got a little dialogue going here in the chat. Jay Vega, of course, malt liquor.
Malt liquor. Yeah.
So we got malt liquored.
We got a malt liquor last week, even though you didn't show up, Joe. He did a preemptive malt liquor.
We have Nathan. Is that Fight or Fate or what is that? But he said,
Fight.
Huge fan of the show. What's up, buddy? And we'll give him a what's up right back. And what's a good pumpkin beer from what is that? Osluk 007. What's a good pumpkin beer? Well, just had 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So if that didn't answer his question, I don't know what will. Adam to the moon here, and Pumpkin by Southern Tier. And Numb Nuts is asking if I'm wearing eyeliner. Does it look like I'm wearing? I guess it kind of does, huh? Well,
no, it doesn't.
It doesn't. Okay. Yeah. I think it's just the bags under my eyes, man. That's kind of they're always there. And then of course Herb Prophet. One of these days, me and him are gonna hook up. He's here in Phoenix.
Oh, cool.
And one of these days we're gonna have to hook up. But he put when Jay Fega malt liquors, he craft beers. That's what's, and then he always puts a little herb with his beer. So
okay,
because he wouldn't be the Herb Prophet, without
a little herb with his beer.
Yeah,
so what is a relative of herb. So
it's a definite. They go together.
Same thing.
They go together. They're cousins.
That's like Colorado, lots of craft beer, lots of craft herb.
Yes, and they take you. Oh wow, yeah. And you want to? It's the same effect there too, right? Because your mass-produced herb is not as good as the craft herb, which costs a lot of money and gets you umped up, right? Like, it's like.
It's like drinking an imperial ale to a Budweiser.
What
that
would
extra little kick?
And you can geek out on some weed, right? Like you can geek out on that. Nowadays they know what's the measurement for?
Oh, what is it? THC, is that the stuff that's in there?
THC, but I know they have. I have seen video, and literally this is the only way I know is because I have seen video of like when they show you going into a what do they call them places? Medical marijuana store or something. But I mean, you go into
medical marijuana.
Yeah, I have not been to a medical. I literally have not, and I'm not even joking. When I see it on a show, and they show people going in there. The guy behind the counter is literally telling you, yeah, this one's blah, 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 and this one's blah, blah, blah. He's like spinning off all these weed numbers to you. You know what I'm saying? Like they have. So it's definitely, gone up in the, God, what is it? I think, well, the last time I did any weed was before I started trucking. So it was.
Okay, good answer. Good answer.
It literally was. So I think I was 23. So
okay. I think it's out of your system by now.
Hopefully, I know it stays in your system a little longer. That might explain. Maybe it was all those years of munchies that have caught up to me now. Maybe that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? But in any case, yeah. Everything's gotten crafty now, if you will, right? Like everything, they've got numbers on everything and so forth. So as you can see, I am very proud of my Rams. They have done good. So right now we are division leaders, and golf clap for that. So very, very proud of my Rams. So I'll throw them a plug. All right, man.
They're going to lose to the Broncos in the Super Bowl, I think.
Hey, the Broncos are playing pretty darn good.
They are.
They have some quarterback issues right now, right? The guy hurt his shoulder.
Yeah,
I haven't caught up. I don't know quite what the status is on him, but he's that guy out of where did that quarterback come from? He's not the one from Northwestern, is he?
I think he is. I'm trying to think.
Is he the one from Northwestern? But in any case,
I was almost in the loop on NFL stuff, and then I totally blew it off this past weekend because I didn't watch any sports this weekend.
That was a great game. I went to the Rams-Cardinals game here in Phoenix. The Rams were on the road and took care of Arizona. So now they actually have a big game back in LA against the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills are coming off a huge win where they smoked the Patriots. I mean, just crushed them.
Oh,
so
that's right, they did. Yeah.
I mean, they left them scoreless, but that was with no Tom Brady, man. That was with. So I would imagine
he comes back this week. Does he come back this week?
Yeah, he's practicing now. So
okay.
It was.
He's gonna be on the field Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll definitely be out there, and that was he was asking.
2-year suspension is now over.
Yeah, that
was
whole
2 years ago. That's so crazy.
That whole thing is, well, now it's behind him. It's kind of what people were saying in the beginning, like, why don't you just take a suspension right off the bat? I mean, now in hindsight, he had to do it anyway, and it lingered over, and it was distraction for the Patriots.
Oh yeah.
For this whole time. So yeah, you do that suspension, or at least agree to a milder suspension right off the bat and put it behind you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Right.
Hands up. I'm done. You caught me. I'll sit out the first 3 games of next year or whatever.
I think if you knew what you knew now and you had a do-over, would he do it the same way? It cost a lot of money, big distractions for the whole team. Now they had some success, but without those distractions, would they have been able to finish? Is the kind of the question.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Patriots are the Patriots, and I love to hate them. Trust me, because I can't stand them, but. I do respect them. I mean, they are damn good. Even without Brady, when they came here for the opening season game, I did make sure to come out and see them. I haven't seen the Patriots before, so even without Brady, I did make sure. And Gronk wasn't here, and so even if I wanted to sell them, they weren't worth anything without those 2 guys playing. So, so yeah, I went and seen the Patriots. I'd never seen them before, so that was cool. But I'll let you go. We'll get out of here, man. We're definitely over by almost 20 minutes now. So
yeah, that's fine.
Hey, thank you guys. Herb Prophet corrected himself, and then let me see. I'm that guy. Yeah, he says. I know a lot about cannabis. Been smoking for 16 years. Medical since 2011. So yeah, he's. Yeah, he knows a little bit about it. So he's, yeah.
Sorry to hear that you've been sick, Herb.
I worked with a guy for 14 years, and he finally retired, right? And he retired, and the whole time we worked together, he was talking about how when he retires, he was going to smoke weed again and this and that, blah, 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 blah. Well, he has a greenhouse. He's kind of into growing his own vegetables and his own produce and that sort of stuff. So when leading into his retirement, he had planted some plants, right? And he took a lot of care planting these plants, and he would show me pictures. And, yeah, Joe, when I retire, blah, 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 man, I'm picking this bud right here, and I'm going to blah, 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 and I'm going to do this and that. Okay, a month into his retirement, he texts me, right? And he's like, yep, no smoking weed again. Swear to God, it kicked my ass. So
it wasn't the weed he remembered from the 70s, was it? I mean, that's probably the last time he smoked was back in the 70s, right?
That's kind of my point, is like,
it's so much stronger now.
It's so much stronger. And then he took so much care in growing it. I mean, the care that he put into growing, he would give me, like, you know, every few days a report on what he was doing, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think even he realized that he was growing something that he couldn't even hang with. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, he ended up giving it all away to some other guy. He was like, yeah, nah, it's not for me anymore.
But, you know, that's what a lot of people who are, you know, who were had smoked back in the 70s and 80s and that type of stuff and had been away from it. And now that it's legal, they come back and it's like, this stuff is, I mean, it's literally, it's like 10 or 20 times stronger than the stuff you had back in college or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's
nasty. I mean, it's, if you, it can really hit you hard.
Yeah. And then the
not
thing
that I
of it
know.
is,
I mean, not that I know, but I mean, you know,
the
just
thing of it is, and you're not 20 anymore either.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
like,
so your body takes a little while to recover from stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Because his description of it was enough for me. I was like, wow, I hadn't thought about it, you know. But trust me, he's the only one, because the other guys I know that are retired are very happily retired. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, he's the only one I know that was like, I'm going to retire and I'm going to this and that. And then he finally got his trip to Disneyland, and he was like, Mickey sucks. You know what I'm saying? He's the only one that went to Disneyland and is like,
Mickey's
Mickey
overrated.
Everybody else, they are packing Disneyland, okay? Let's be clear. There is no lack of people waiting to pay $100 a person to get into Disneyland. The people that don't like Mickey are rare. Let's be clear. So, you know, to use another example, another analogy. But, all right, guys, we're out of here, man. You guys take care. Thanks for showing up. Thank you, and apologies again for not showing up last week, but you know, we had an extended show today, so we're doing pretty good.
We're good.
All right, guys.
No problems.
Peace out, man.
See ya.
All right.
See ya.